What's coming straight out of Compton is sickening. That's the message. Let's get into it. But before we really dive into it, again, just want to say welcome to everyone to my new channel. This is Bruce the Boss Brooks. Do not forget to hit the like button, and also please subscribe so we can make sure that the message is not only getting out there and picked up on YouTube, so we can have these conversations that the mainstream media and the radical far left does not want us to have, to continue to shed light on issues that they're trying to keep in the dark, but also so that you can get notified from my daily uploads of content. So again, just want to say thank you, but don't forget to hit like and subscribe. So let's get into it. So last night in Compton, around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, a couple of cops got ambushed. Yes. So you had these two deputies sitting in their police car, and apparently they hadn't been on the force for all that long, maybe 14 months. As they're sitting in their police car, a perpetrator comes up to the passenger side of the cop car and, unprovoked, opens fire, critically injuring both deputies. And just to put a face on both of the deputies, one is a 31-year-old mother of a 6-year-old, and the other one is a 24-year-old young man. Again, both recently joined the force, not much more than a year ago. And to make matters worse, as the deputies are being rushed to the hospital in the ambulance, I don't know if Black Lives Matter protesters or rioters are already stationed at the hospital that these deputies were arriving at, or they got word of the incident and decided to beat the ambulance to the punch. Bottom line is there were Black Lives Matter protesters actually at the hospital, ready and waiting to block the entrance of the ambulance, trying to keep the ambulance from getting into the parking lot area, or should I say the emergency room entrance area. And as they were trying to block the ambulance, they were chanting, "We hope they die." Let me let that sink in. Black Lives Matter protesters were waiting to stop the ambulance from getting these officers treated, and they were chanting, "We hope they die." That's what is being pushed in this country, and that's what we need to be fighting against, because that is absolutely disgusting on all levels. No, not all cops are bad. Yes, there is such a thing called police brutality. No, most of these instances that they're trying to push for police brutality are not real instances of police brutality. We need to be able to have that conversation that 370 million police interactions every year, a very, very, very small percentage of those interactions turn out to actually be George Floyd's or Juan Castillo's. We need to have the conversation that if you do not break the law, even if you are pulled over for something as minor as a traffic violation and or just because you fit a description, so long as you use common sense, don't fight back, don't be argumentative, you comply, 99.99999% of those interactions will be great without incidents. We need to be able to have the conversation that no, police should not be using excessive forces in all situations, and at the same time also hold people accountable for their actions. Be able to say, no, it's not all right to be resisting arrest. No, it's not all right to be fighting with the cops. No, it's not all right to be committing crimes. We will hold you responsible. We will not consider you a martyr and or a victim if you are the one who agitated and or escalated the situation. We have to have the conversation that these police are willingly putting themselves in the middle of war zones to make sure that you are safe. That in a lot of these cities, violent crime is up 143%. And cops are 18 and a half times more likely to get shot and or shot at than it is for a black suspect or an individual to get shot by a cop. This is the reality that a lot of cops are putting themselves in the middle of, and we need to also acknowledge and make sure that we are not making their lives any harder. We are not making ourselves to be any more of a threat that they need to respond to. We need to be able to say, yes, blue lives also matter. This is not an issue of white versus black, that you can't support one without the other, or you can't support real issues of police violence without also acknowledging that the police are also under siege and under attack, and that we need to stand up and be united both as a community and also take onus for our part in these escalated situations, and also be able to stand together with the men and women who put on the badge and proudly serve our communities to try to keep it safe. So I'm going to say Blue Lives Matter. What happened last night in Compton is disgusting. We need to put an end to this Marxist radical terrorist group known as Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and stand united as a country to say enough is enough. We ain't having it. So that's my message for today. I want to know what your thoughts are on the instance, what happened. What are your thoughts on these cops getting attacked? Your thoughts on Black Lives Matter protesters blocking the entrance to the emergency room hospital to try to treat these cops and saying, we hope they die. And by the way, I want to put this out there. I don't think that every single chapter of Black Lives Matter are part of the problem. You have a lot of good smaller chapters, but the organization as a whole, very problematic when we have them on record and or video saying pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. What do we want? Dead cops. What do we want them now? And then again, what just happened last night in Los Angeles regarding them chanting, we hope they die, as they're blocking the entrance to the hospital, trying to treat these cops. And you wonder why these escalated attacks on cops, as well as escalated instances of people resisting arrest, incidents of individuals assaulting cops first and or escalating the issue. There's no wonder why these things are rising and happening at an escalated rate. It's because these terrorist groups are poisoning the minds, poisoning the conversation, and just dictating the conversation. And I'm here to say we've had enough. No more police violence, no more violence against the police. Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, all lives matter. So that's my thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts are on the situation. Are you ready to say we've had enough of police violence? Or should I say violence against the cops? We've had it enough against this Marxist organization known as Black Lives Matter and Antifa, creating chaos and destruction in the city. Do you think that they are instigating a lot of these instances? Please let me know what your thoughts are. And if you agree with my positioning, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. All right, I'm out.